What's up, Schmoedown fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Schmoedown. I'm Star Wars competitor Andrew Dimalanta.
And I'm Nicki Dimalanta.
Two, semifinal matches for the Ultimate Schmoedown Teams Tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Two good ones, too.
2.
1, 2.
My daughter's learning how to count.
It's exciting.
So we count everything. It's
one
not
of them,
tedious at all.
which, I mean, both really great matches. One didn't go the way I would hoped. We'll get to that.
You know,
But
a lot of things this year haven't gone the way I hoped. So I can't say that I'm surprised.
Before we get into those, do we have anything? Again, I always ask this, and
You always ask it, and I always have no answer.
I always forget. And there's one that something that happened this week. I was like, oh yeah, we need to talk about that.
Tell me to put it in my notes. That's why I have them, because I forget everything.
What it was. It was something that happened.
Was it?
It was something. Well, it was something that was said in the Facebook group or something.
Oh,
you know what?
Like an announcement?
Something like that.
Or somebody like, you should have challenged this. One of those types of things.
I think it was one of those types of things.
If it's in one of these matches, I'll be like, oh, right.
Maybe
I
that's
did
what
see
I'm
a
thinking
comment
of.
about that.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
One thing that is starting to become marketed is that the spectacular is upon us. It's very close.
It's around the corner.
And we're seeing all these posts about undefeated Brett Sheridan going up against the undefeated Kevin Smith. It's like, well, can't argue with it. They are undefeated.
You can't, but it's like it's one match. I would only
be fun.
And again, these are like hot button words that everybody loves to use, and it's like, yeah, technically you're right, but it's like I use the word undefeated if you've gone on like a 3-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Like that's when it's proper to like, yeah, he's undefeated.
I know by definition it's true. If
it
you
is.
haven't lost, then you are undefeated. But it's like, okay.
It's like the beginning of the football season. It's like, oh man, we're undefeated. It's like, it's week 1, dude. Calm down.
You've had one game.
You've had one game. Let's see how it pans out in their next couple games, because
yeah. So Kevin Smith's gonna win. Be shocked if he didn't.
I mean,
he's going to.
He's going.
I would bet a lot of money that Kevin Smith is gonna win.
Well, let's keep saying that, because this show, we're the kiss of death, apparently.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I wholeheartedly believe that Kevin Smith is gonna win, and if he doesn't, I will pee my pants.
Yeah.
Like in the living room.
Yeah, but we have all but this one, the team's title.
Nothing against Brett. I love Brett.
Oh yeah, no,
but
Brett's awesome.
You know.
But yeah, I think the only match that we're waiting on confirmation is the teams, because everything else is set.
Oh yeah,
everything's
true.
set. Mm-hmm. It's just around the corner.
It is. It's not this weekend. It's the following.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's crazy. So,
yeah,
anyways.
this weekend is the weekend of the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
December already, my dudes.
Where's that? Anyways, so let's go ahead and get into these matches, so we don't drone on and go on tangents like we always do.
It'll happen. So the first match we have is the odd couple.
What is that?
Ladies out there, tell me, do you just find yourself having random hair stuck to you a lot? Yeah? No? Just kind of go like...
I do. That happens to me because we
My hair?
Yeah,
or your hair?
Your hair, because it gets in the laundry. I'm like, what is this?
Sorry.
Comes out of the dryer. And it's like, oh, okay.
You want me to shave my head instead?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, there we go.
No.
We just live life covered in my hair and dog hair.
And dog hair, yeah. I'll let you do find some of my hairs sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. I got a lot of hair.
Anyways, before we go off on tangents, the odd couple versus deception. But before this match started, we got an Andrew Guy cutscene.
Yeah,
the return of the like backstory, not backstories, but the return of the
storylines.
That's storylines.
Storylines. And this is one of the storylines. I'm like, where are they going to go with this now that he's not playing anymore? It's
my God.
Oh, they're taking it somewhere.
And when it first started, and this is just a testament to how Andrew Guy is, he's just too good. Because when he first started, I don't remember what exactly he was saying, but just the tone in his voice, the look on his face.
He was just like, yeah, I didn't come to perform this season. I always like to perform for my fans, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh,
and the way
God.
he was talking, I just looked at Andrew and I'm like, if this mother retires right now, I'm gonna punch my monitor.
Yeah.
So, but luckily that's not what it was. We don't really know what it was at this point because it was this, very somber Andrew Guy telling about how he hasn't been doing what he wants to do in this season, and it hasn't gone the way that he would hope it would, and blah, 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 and who knows what's going to happen. And then his phone goes off, and oops, sorry guys, didn't mute my phone.
Sorry.
I didn't silence my phone. Anyways, back to my monologue. another phone message. Hold on, guys. Gotta take this. And let me not turn off my camera. Yellow. What? And then he kind of like has to go off screen. And, I gotta take this. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
So who knows what that was about? I say crazy off the wall guess, which I know is not the case, but in my head canon, as I don't really like that term.
You don't like that term?
But it just sounds weird.
I mean,
but I get it, and it's the only way I know how to describe it. But yeah, in that, it's like, ooh, well, they've already set up that Ben Bateman's not happy with Tom Dagnino on the exchange. So who knows? Maybe that was Ben Bateman like, hey, bro, I'm mad. This season didn't go my way. Didn't go your way either. Let's be bros again.
Yeah.
And get drafted to the same team.
And just to sort of like, again, backstage, so not backstage, but beyond the Schmoedown type of stuff, like just looking at this cutscene, it's left open-ended.
Yeah.
Because
you can do a lot with it.
You can do a lot with it because determining on who goes where, who gets signed with who gets picked up in the draft, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, because it could be if they get drafted to the same team. Oh, it was Ben.
It was Ben,
if he gets drafted with Ethan again. Oh, what's the Lethal Weapons? Well, that wouldn't make sense because they just lost.
Yeah.
Whoops, sorry. Spoilers.
Well, no, we already covered that. That was last week.
Oh, sorry. I got nervous. That was last week. Never mind. You already know that. But yeah, I mean, it's brilliant because it could be anybody. It could be Ben Bateman. It could be whoever. It could be Janine. It could be. Well, I mean, they didn't time. We're saying it's not like they teamed up before.
And I'd like to leave it open ended because I love the storylines and I love the fact but again, it's also like, are we letting the story dictate the competition rather than the other way around?
Because if we're leaving it open ended for that purpose, brilliant.
Yeah, it's good.
But if it's kind of like, ooh, it's Ben Bateman on the phone,
Ben
then
Bateman
it's
on
like,
the phone, then you have
we're letting storylines drive the draft. Oh, no.
Because then the manager's gonna have to pick up both Ben.
I'm
and
sure that's not
Guy,
what's happening because the draft is a free form thing, and you're not so much gonna engineer the draft. I'm sure that's not what's happening, but that's just what you hope doesn't happen. So yeah, it was an interesting cutscene. Don't know where it's gonna lead to.
It is, and I did like that. It's like, hey, well, we're not going to see Andrew Guy that much. Well, I guess I was wrong because we saw him in this cutscene.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully we get more of those because, especially leading into Spectacular or maybe during Spectacular, that we'll see a couple of those.
Probably. And also, I feel like somebody commented on it in the Facebook group, and Christian was like, "Oh, they're back in full force, baby, next season." So I think he said that. So I'm thinking that regardless of virtual studio, whatever, I think he's just like
you got to stay flexible. But I think this with Andrew Guy proves that digital cutscenes can work.
Yeah,
and it's limiting because they started to get really good when Skybound came into play.
Yeah,
and people from Skybound were handling those scenes. It's like all these look like actual you know what I mean, like really good cutscenes rather than like just like all right, let's get this done. But it looked like a lot of care went into them. So if we get back to that, it'd be exciting. If we just get the digital, it's fine. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. But
we'll see what happens. So back to the match that is not Lethal Weapons. My bad. I was really upset for a second. So we have the Odd Couple versus Deception. The Odd Couple, of course, is Jeff the Snyder and Mark the Android Andraco versus the former team's champions. Versus Deception. And that is, of course, Adam the Coyote Killiody Collins versus Lady Justice Marathon McKee. And that's, of course, the Rockstars versus Corruption.
Yeah. Deception coming off of that monster win last time against Lethal Weapons. Ethan Irwin was like, oh, they're going to go pretty far in this tournament. Yeah. Corruption put an end to that. An Odd Couple coming off of their win against, who was it? God, I forgot who Odd Couple beat. Oh my God!
Why you do this?
It wasn't Witching Power. It was. Oh crap! Why are we forgetting this?
I don't know.
It was like last week.
I always blank on that top right side of the bracket.
Yeah. Was it? Shoot. Who was it? Oh my God! We're spending way too much time on this.
Yeah, we are actually.
But anyways, so but this was for a lot of people. It's like, oh, former champions, but it's a tall task because Collins is on fire. Marisol is starting to hit her stride. So this was a dangerous looking team for the Odd Couple, and it's like, an Odd Couple is one of those games or one of those teams where it's like, which one are we getting?
Category 9.
Category 9. That's what it is. Thank you. Wow.
Sorry, Droogs.
Sorry, Droogs.
Whoops.
Yeah,
it's awkward. You did all right.
Yeah. But yeah, like, because like the Odd Couple, sometimes they do like unbelievably well, but then sometimes they hit a category. It's like, well, they don't prepare all that much, and they just hit a category where it's like, well, I guess it's that category. But this was a good match. This is a fantastic match.
Real good. So round 1. Oh right, it feels like a month since we watched this match for some reason. So there was a question where the answer was Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh yeah,
and Jeff was you could tell Jeff was real prickly at the beginning of this match, just based on this little hubbub that happened. I wonder, does it have anything to do with his pride? Like, if I lose to this rookie team
twice, and if you lose to Collins twice,
exactly. So he's maybe that's not what it was. Maybe I'm reading into it too far. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him because like he said himself, like, this is like the Jeff Snyder revenge tour. Like whoever's beaten me in the past, he did it. Ethan beat him in the past, beat him to get to the finals of the singles tournament. Collins,
I also just think that getting beat by the same rookie twice and getting beat by a rookie team when you're supposed to be like this, Mount Rushmore team player. Yeah. I feel like it might have been some pressure, and it might have made him a little jittery.
And we're in Jeff Snyder's division where he's probably the best teams competitor that he went on that unbelievable Patriots run. So
yeah. So Daniel Day-Lewis, he almost challenged it. He was kind of like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Because I guess it was Marisol.
Daniel,
She wrote it without a hyphen or with a hyphen. Well, it was a hyphen. It was either she wrote it one way and he thought that it was supposed to be the other, and it was just concerning a hyphen. Yeah. Like she wrote Daniel Day-Lewis, but he was like, see the hyphen, the lack thereof or whatever.
It's like this another like Russell kind of type of situation. Like, who they're talking about.
So I don't know who was that actually kind of put the kibosh to it, if it was Roxy or Mark, but they were kind of like, let it go, man.
I think it was a combination of the two.
Which, I mean, excellent call, and we'll find out exactly why later. But even just in that moment, it was like, don't be that petty. Yeah. Like, is there any other Daniel Day-Lewis like in this arena? It's just, we've said a million times before that we're not really fans of like these petty challenges. Like, pedantic is a word that's been thrown around a lot, and I think that word's funny because it makes me think of friends.
Like nitpicky challenges where it's like word
of the day, So luckily they kind of quickly talked him out of it. And he was like, all right, well, let's never mind. So then moving on, Marisol and Jeff missed a question about airplane. Collins and Andreyko both got perfect rounds, and they both got the bonus. So 16-16 by the end of round 1.
And Jeff, I think, I don't know how many in a row he's done perfect in the first rounds, but I think that might have ended his streak here.
Yeah.
So
thanks to airplane. Yeah. Round 2.
Well, he doesn't like those movies, right? He doesn't watch them.
He seems to not like a lot of movies for a critic. Round 2. Deception got Spinner's Choice, and they picked Spike Lee. Perfect round 2. Wrapped up nice and neat there. Odd Couple goes, and they spin Meryl Streep, much to everyone's delight. Perfect round 2. Look at that. So by the end of round 2, it's 20-28. I mean, there's not too much to talk about when you just knock it out of the park, both teams. So there you go. Heading into round 3. Well, I'll get back to something else at the end of the match. Okay. Round 3, 2-pointer for deception. Will Smith, Marisol takes it, who plays Edward Brill Lyle, who helps Will's character untangle a government cover-up, an enemy of the state. She got it. I didn't write down the answers this time. My bad. 2-pointer for Odd Couple. Disney, Andreyko takes it. This one. What holiday are the Mad Hatter and the March Hare celebrating in Alice in Wonderland? He was kind of... made me nervous because he was kind of like,
I don't know.
It was one of those, I think he had a repeat, but it was one of those like countdowns where you just, how some countdowns you're like, oh no, they don't know this. And others where it's like, oh, they just need a couple more seconds to get there.
There's almost there. You just need it.
This was one of the ones where you're like, oh no.
He just wait. Yeah. It's like, oh, he just wasted it. Yeah.
So he I think he may have thrown out some random answer, and it was incorrect. And the answer was an
Birthday.
unbirthday.
Yeah.
And so he missed it. They decided, and actually, Mark Andreyko wasn't, spearheading this challenge. I don't know if it was Roxy or if it was Jeff.
I think it was Jeff that wanted to spearhead this one.
Maybe, but whatever happened, they're like, nope. This question needs to be challenged, because what they basically said was that because it's not an actual holiday and birthdays are personal. It's not, because the question said what holiday?
Yeah.
What holiday are they celebrating?
They had like several different tiers to this, because like birthdays aren't holidays,
right?
And
it's a personal thing.
It's a personal thing.
Nobody really cares except for you.
Yeah, and also when you think of holidays, and like the way wording of the question has been really debated. It's not heavily debated, but it's been one of these things where it's like, be careful with the way you word questions, especially in something like this, because like when you say what holiday, your mind immediately goes to the real world holidays: Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, 4th of July.
I had no idea, but I was like, March hare. I don't know, St. Patty's Day, March.
So like that's where your mind doesn't immediately go.
It just went to a holiday.
It doesn't immediately go to a holiday within the world, unless the category is like, Star Wars. What holiday is this? And it's like, well, they don't have Christmas in Star Wars. They have Life Day. So, you know what I mean?
I don't know if that's the best analogy.
Yeah, but
I don't know that's the best analogy.
Yeah, but they had multiple tiers to this challenge. It's like, well, one, birthdays aren't really considered a holiday, and two, like what the heck is an unbirthday?
Well, within the confines of the movie, it's a thing.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest point that they had was it's not a holiday.
Yeah.
Birthdays are personal.
Yeah.
And like Andrew was saying, with the wording of the questions, I think that had they inserted one word of what fictional holiday or something to that effect, they would have covered their butts a bit more, and they probably would have upheld their decision. So they issued the challenge, and they won it. They upheld the challenge. They threw out the question because they were like, birthday's not an actual holiday. We asked for a holiday. So
that's a fan.
Oh my god!
Fantastic challenge.
If there was an award for challenge of the year, that would be it, because I've never been more blown away from a challenge than that one. That was amazing.
Yeah, there's been challenges in the past where it was like either overturned or upheld, but it's because it was basically like the competitor talking the judges into their favor. It's like, I get what you're saying.
Like that Chandra one.
The Chandra one, Ben Bateman's challenge against Bibiani in last year's Spectacular to win the singles tournament with the whole sports agent, whatever. He really talked his way through that.
Yeah.
This is a case where it's like they have a clear case, like the way the question was worded. It's like, well, and everything they labeled out, it's like, the birthdays aren't a holiday. And I think to your point, saying if they would just put in fictional holiday, this doesn't,
one word would have changed the outcome of this challenge.
Exactly, because then you say fictional holiday, your brain immediately goes to, well, they're not talking about real world holidays.
Yeah, it could be anything now. If I don't know it, now I'm screwed.
Because within the world of Alice in Wonderland, an unbirthday might be an actual holiday within that world.
Yeah, and it might be.
Yeah, so
in which case, great. But we just said what holiday.
Yeah,
and and I know that at the end of the match, in the post-match interview, Collins was like, I still assert that it's still a holiday. It's like, in the confines of the movie.
Yeah.
But we're asking a question, and given the way the question was structured and the way they challenged it, they're right.
Yeah.
And I think that the way that the challenge was handled was perfect.
Yeah. And again, hindsight 2020, looking back at Jeff's challenge that he wanted to do in the first round, and they talked him out of it.
Thank God they didn't do that.
Because if they would have challenged it, they would have lost it,
I'm sure.
And then they wouldn't be able to challenge this one. So it's like the way that you have to work as a team here, and because if this is a singles match, does that challenge in the first round go through? And because Jeff would probably like, no, I want to challenge this, and Ross would be like, all right, if you want to go,
And the other thing is, I think in the post-match interview, I think Mark Andreyko said, listen, if this was a singles match, I'm not sure that I would have challenged that on my own.
Yeah.
So,
the
way
went two
that
ways.
the Odd Couple's been working together, this match and the last match is like, ooh, I'd be a little nervous.
Yeah.
So they've had this synergy going in the past two matches. Not that they haven't in the ones previous, but I feel it was just so evident in these last two matches.
They're firing on all cylinders right now. It's not just like knowledge-wise and blowing through all the questions. It's like understanding who, and because there's another point I think in the second round where Andreyko's like, hey, I think it's this, and then Snyder's like, wait, hold on. No, it's this. And he goes, oh, no, you're right. It is that. And that's one of those things I think that the digital format like lends itself to. Is like we don't get to see these in studio matches, but this is like showing off their chemistry in a way that we haven't been able to see them before. Because before it's like, oh, the Odd Couple, they usually when we talk about teammates and their chemistry, it's like we really don't see it because they're doing this.
Yeah.
But now their conversation is out for everybody else to see, and it's like, oh, so that's how they meld well. It's because like Jeff saw that the answer was wrong. It's like, no, it's this. And Andreyko's like, oh yeah, you're right, because he confused it. Because I think Jeff, in that sense, is like he heard the question and goes, no, people would awfully like confuse it for this answer. And Draco said that answer is like, no, you're confusing with this.
Yeah.
So it's they're firing on all cylinders, and their chemistry is being shown to be peaking at the right moments.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And this challenge.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, both of these situations were not challenging and challenging. It was
blown away. Blown away.
Yeah.
So they threw out that question. They gave a new question in the realm of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
What classic Disney film is a series of animated scenes set to famous classical music pieces?
Yes, Fantasia.
Music pieces?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, classical music pieces, yeah.
Music pieces is one word, so it looks weird. And I probably just typed it like an idiot.
Get on.
Get to it quick. So he got it right. So excellent use of challenge.
Yeah.
3-pointer for deception. Spy films. Adam takes it. Who co-stars with DiCaprio and Russell Crowe as Hani Salam? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Salam or Salam. In 2008's Body of Lies. He did miss it.
Ooh,
and as
miss.
everybody loves to say, the Russian is cut.
He's human.
So as we all are.
Mm-hmm.
So 3-pointer for The Odd Couple. Sports.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Snyder. What film based on a 1963 book chronicles the bribery scandal of the 1919 Chicago White Sox? What? Who knows that? Jeff Snyder does because he got it right. Whoa.
Yeah. That's I was like, you're speaking Spanish to me right now. I have no idea.
You could have told me I just read that in another language. I'd be like, wow, I didn't know I was
cool.
multilingual like that. 5-pointer for deception.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Who plays Nora Christie in 1992's Far and Away?
Oh, and they immediately said,
Nicole Kidman.
My head wants to go to Nicole Kidman, but it's probably too obvious.
And they were right. They did, because when they said Nicole Kidman, it was like, girl, come on. Not girl, not like, I don't mean like girl, like, like Marisol. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Come on, buddy.
Because it's a 5-pointer, and they said as much. Yeah. They were aware that it's like, no, that's too obvious.
Too obvious.
But it was the only thing they could come up with.
Yeah.
And I can't knock them for that, because sometimes that just happens. And you're like, well, once you get a name in your head, you almost can't think of anyone else.
Exactly.
And a lot of times, if you're thinking of the 90s, early 90s, and you're thinking of Tom Cruise,
you can't
think of Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they fully acknowledged that it was like, it's not going to be Nicole Kidman for a 5-pointer. Yeah. But they just couldn't conjure anything else up.
Yeah, take a swing. Hopefully, it's one of those questions where they're trying to, trick the opponent, the competitors.
You got to respect the fact that they threw something out, because it's always a missed opportunity when you don't throw something out at all, because we all see that sometimes that works for some competitors. So in any case, it was Barbara Babcock. I did write that answer down, and they missed it. So 30-33 in favor of The Odd Couple, knocking out deception. Adam Collins' first loss.
And some people might categorize this as an upset.
Only in faction standings, as far as I
and in the fact that Collins was just winning everything, everything and anything that he was competing. This is his first loss of the season, and he came in at the end of the season, so you know what I mean. It's like, oh, he finally loses. It's like, well, he's been competing the past couple months,
and also it's bound to happen at some point. And I do like that he made the point in his post-match interview. They were like, so salt in the wound, how's it feel? Because you lost, buddy.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's actually kind of a relief.
Yeah.
And I think he's totally right. I'm glad he got it out of the way for himself, because it's got to be so
easy.
much more stressful to be like, oh God, I got to keep this up now.
Yeah. You're the golden boy, and everybody's expecting you to win every single thing now that you've proven that you pretty much win every single thing you play in.
It's like they build you up and build you up and build you up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the tragedy of, the story of Robert Parker. Everyone built him up.
And then when he
didn't do too well in that one match. And now it's all like, oh, let's all hop off of that bandwagon.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, man. Everybody loses.
Yeah. It's not like he's not good. It's just he wasn't playing well that day.
It just didn't happen that day. So, at least in Robert Parker's case, he got it out of the way earlier on. And now he can just move on. Adam built up a little bit more, probably even more pressure, but I'm sure it is a relief to be like, I got that out of my system.
Comparing Collins and Parker, I think it's a little apples and oranges because Parker was built up before he stepped foot in the ring.
That's true.
Collins made his way and built his own hype up because he was performing, and people were like, "Who is this guy?"
That's very true.
He's getting ousted in the plane. Who is this Collins kid? Gets to the plane, it's like, oh well, it's the plane, whatever. Gets to Roka, gets through all these legends of the game. In like just racking up knockout points, and it's like, so I think it's a little apples and oranges, but like
that's true.
And
that's a good point.
And like you said, like it has to be a relief for him. It's like because the stress of performing when everybody expects you to, it's just got to be taxing on it.
And then like you miss one question, everyone's like clutching their pearls. Like, what? Yeah. Adam didn't know something.
Yeah.
So at least it's out of the way, and he can just move on now. He's got that taste of defeat.
Defeat, yeah.
So not in singles, at this point, but at least it's there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's not like it's because before I said like it depends on how Marisol performs. This didn't boil down to like Marisol didn't perform well, or it was just it.
They were both amazing.
They're both really good. It's just a combination of a couple of misses here, and the 3 and the 5 are what really lost it for him. Because it's easy to say like, the challenge is what swayed this. It's like not really, because they still would have won by 1 point.
I think so.
But the challenge also I think is more of a momentum thing, because momentum has a big play in this, especially for mindset. Because can you imagine if they challenged it and it's like, well, no, we're not gonna go with what you say. What the writers say is what goes. So you got it wrong, and then it's like, oh Jesus, so you missed your 2, or was it a 3?
It was 2. Yeah, because Jeff got that baseball 3-pointer or whatever it was. Yeah. So that was their 2-pointer.
Yeah. So it's like, so you're going into the next question is deflated already.
Yes.
So it's got to mess with you. But this is a huge momentum swing in their favor, because one, they were able to get that question scrapped. They got the repeat back, and then they got a question that he did know. Yeah. So it's like, everything was going their way. So they got all the momentum back on their side.
Yeah.
And then Collins misses the 3, and then they missed the 5.
Yeah.
So either way, I think people want to say, the challenge wasn't really that important. It's like, in my opinion, it was very important to keep them in the game.
Points wise, not so much, but like you said, momentum wise, like, it could have been very deflating is a good word.
Oh, yeah. And to
be like, oh, God, we missed our 2-pointer right out the gate.
Yeah, exactly. Momentum has a big play in any sport you play. Whether it's football or the Schmoedown or golf or whatever. Like, when you hit a wall, you hit a wall. But when you're hitting a hot streak and everything seems to be going your way, it snowballs for the competitor. So that was a fantastic challenge. And I think that has to be nominated for Moment of the Year for me. It has to.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Because that was great.
So
I was hollering when that happened.
Yeah. So deception, their corruption is not corruption, but Shannon is in an interesting situation right now, because she has Collins and
Marisol.
No. In Spectacular right now, she has Collins going for the singles belt, and she has Chance going for the IG belt.
Right.
She's got 5 players, 5 A tier players in multiple divisions, and you only get to sign 3.
Yeah,
this is interesting, because anybody that says that she's not going to sign Chance and Mike,
you're crazy.
You're crazy. You're not parting ways with those two.
Especially not when you're in a relationship with one of them.
That plays too. But 2 top tier competitors in 3 divisions. Don't let those 2 go. Then you have Collins, who. You're foolish not to think that she'll sign him.
Yeah.
And you also got Marisol, who's proven that she can play.
Yeah, and they were good together too.
Yeah, they're a fantastic team together. Then you got Laura Kelly roaming around there, who
flying around the galaxy.
Yeah, she's only a 1 division player, but I think it was Jen Sturger who said it best. Like, Star Wars players in the Schmoedown are like good kickers. You don't need them until you need them.
Yes.
So like, and if you don't have a good Star Wars player when you need them, that could cost you the season.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in. It's like, do you let Collins go? She's gonna have to either let Collins, Marisol, or Laura Kelly go, or try to pick them up in the draft. But people are gonna be looking at, and especially
people are gonna see the situation she's in and be like, "Ooh, okay."
Especially if Corruption wins the season, they pick last.
That's true.
So somebody can pick those 3 players up. So this is a very interesting situation that she's in.
Yeah.
But Odd Couple playing upset.
They're
for standings wise, and they're off onto the finals.
Their synergy in these past 2 matches.
And they played fantastic on like not just like like I said questions wise, but like every facet of the game they played fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So they could go and get to spectacular depending on the next match in the final. So it's gonna be good.
So speaking of the next match, we've got the Founding Fathers versus Final Exam. Founding Fathers, John the Outlaw Roca, Dangerous Dan Murrell versus Final Exam, Paul Primetime Oyama.
Primetime Paul Oyama.
Primetime Paul Oyama. And Lon the Delinquent
did it again.
Harris. The Exchange versus Swag. Round 1. Lon missed a question about Pixels. Don't blame you. Didn't hear great things about it.
Not a good movie.
Paul, John, and Dan all got perfect rounds, and they all got the bonus. 16-18 Founding Fathers at the end of round 1.
Good.
Round 2, Founding Fathers goes first. They spin away from movie quotes.
Oh, yeah.
And then they get Eddie Murphy.
Which is a strength of Roca's, I believe.
Well, I don't know that.
Because he said he loves Eddie Murphy. And I was really looking forward to this match because it's like the last match of Founding Fathers is like, okay, glitching power. Granted, they're both good in their own respects. But it's like, all right, now it's like, we're in the thick of it. Here's Final Exam. And like, we're still motivated with Dan's speech.
Yeah.
This end is spectacular. Yeah. So it's like, let's get this. And we need the points and all that jazz. And then Final Exam coming in, trying to get back to face Shazam again.
Yes.
So many storylines going on.
So many. So they go to multiple choice twice. They get one, they miss one, and it did get stolen. Then they had a big fat 2-point miss.
This one hurt.
It hurt a lot, and it got stolen.
Yeah.
That hurt big time. It was uncharacteristic of them.
Yeah, it was.
To be like, let's go for it.
Yeah.
It was uncharacteristic. Who knows what was going on that day? So Final Exam, they spin away from movie quotes also. And then they get Spinner's Choice. And they take Audrey Hepburn, who apparently Paul majored in school.
Wait, is that true? No.
I don't think Audrey Hepburn is a major.
I mean, I took a class all about like one director. So it was Hitchcock. I love that.
Welcome to your job interview. What did you study in college?
Audrey Hepburn. Can you imagine?
Not engineering or business or anything? Nope. Breakfast at Tiffany's. But apparently he did. Yeah, and they went to multiple choice only once and did get it. So they blazed through it.
Yeah, it was like, what are you going to do? And because wasn't it Spinner's Choice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he's shown his skills with Audrey Hepburn before, right?
And they've been doing something. They did something very weird in the second round. They're speaking codes during the wheel spin.
Round. Like, what is the point?
Like, what?
I feel like they were talking in code for like, do you want to respin? And it's like, bro, you're about to do it. Who cares? Just say respin.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have to talk in code? Oh, well, I like this category and this category and this category. Who cares? Just spin the wheel. Like, you already know what you put on there. Obviously, you know those are the ones you want. And I just don't think that there's a point to be like, well, do you want to do alpha or do you want to do beta? Like, just respin if you don't like movie quotes. I feel like it makes more sense to talk in code during like a betting round in a championship match or something.
Yeah, that's the only situation where I think the code speaking, because especially in teams, well, no, in any case, like, because I always forget that, not everybody's in the Star Wars division where everybody bets 3 points regardless. Yeah. But like, yeah, because the betting rounds, like, because they can obviously listen to what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it was just strange. It's like, what?
What's the point here? Yeah, just do it.
Just do it. Like, maybe they're trying to hide, like, I like this category and this category, but it's like,
First of all, at this point, we kind of have an idea of the categories you like.
Yeah.
And could probably look at a wheel and be like, I wonder if Paul Oyama put Audrey Hepburn on there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of silly.
It was strange and silly and
not needed. But
yeah.
if you want to feel cool and talking in code,
unnecessary.
then do what you got to do, baby.
Yeah.
You know, make yourself happy.
Make it sound interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
but
it was just
whatever.
Weird.
Do you want to go? You want to go?
You want to go Rush B with no stop? With
You
Tech
want
Nines?
Rush B no stop?
You want Rush B with Tech Nines and don't stop?
Just respin. You're about to do it in like 2 seconds anyway.
Just do it.
Who cares? So at the end of round 2, 25 to 30, final exam. Round 3, 2-pointer for Founding Fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith. Again. Didn't Marisol just have a Will Smith question?
Yeah.
Will Smith. John takes it. Who plays Albert Brenneman, who is smitten with a client in his investment firm in Hitch? Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Blart himself. 3-pointer for Founding Fathers. Dance. And Dan took dance. Who plays Derek Reynolds in Save the Last Dance? You know what?
Oh, man.
Can't blame you because I was blanking on his name too. I'm like, oh yeah, that one guy from the early 2000s.
The guy with the face?
That one guy?
He was,
the guy that danced with her?
Yeah, that guy.
That one?
Yeah.
He's got 3 names. I can't even think of his name now.
Exactly.
Patrick.
I think you're right. Patrick something. I don't know.
He's one of those 3 namers. He's got, like Sean William Scott. Isn't he the American Pie guy?
Yes.
Stifler. He's one of those triple namers.
Yeah.
I can't think of this guy's name now. But in any case, he did miss it.
Mm-hmm.
So 5-pointer for Founding Fathers, 1980s. In Young Guns, somewhere Josh McCouga heard the bat signal. In
Heard
Young
the bat signal?
Heard the bat signal? Maybe there's an audio component to it.
Heard the call of the wild.
I mean, yeah. What if an emergency happens during the day? How are you going to see a light being shined?
Well,
because all bad things happen at night?
On the Adam West Batman, they had the phone.
Then he heard the bat signal. I win. Case in point. In Young Guns, who plays John Tunstall, who hires young gunmen, that must be where it comes from the road in order to civilize them. And they got it like quick.
Because John Roca.
Yep. 2-pointer for Final Exam. Lon takes it. Horror. Who plays Steve Freeling in 1982's Poltergeist? And he gets it right. 3-pointer for Final Exam. Paul takes it, of course. Oscars. I wonder.
I wonder if he's going to get it.
Holly Hunter was nominated for 2 Oscars for films released in 1993. One was The Piano. What was the other? He got it right. 32 to 35. Final exam, my dudes. So that takes Finstock Exchange out of the team's tournament, unfortunately, if you happen to be a fan. And so now we get to see
I know I am.
Odd Couple versus Final Exam for the finals.
Final, yeah. This wasn't the final that I had picked, obviously, or was cheering for. I think, neither of the teams that I'd picked to go was going, because I had, who did I have?
Lethal Weapons?
No,
Deception?
I had Deception. No, actually, no. Yeah, no, I did. I had Deception and Founding Fathers in this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and both of them lost. So, Kiss of Death from Beyond the Schmoedown.
Here we are.
And it was just strange because it just didn't seem that like John and Dan were in sync in this match. I mean, they were playing really well in the first, but then the second round
two
happened.
just didn't feel like normal.
Yeah, and especially that 2-point miss was like, oh, I think it's this.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's 50-50 shot, let's go for it. And it's like, oh no. And it was just a very uncharacteristic play for them. And I just didn't feel like, especially after the second round, I didn't feel like they were, playing like they normally do. It was just strange to see them play like that. And it was, I don't know. And it was unfortunate because now our only hope, I think, is Dan in Spectacular. And even then, we have no shot at the season because it's like we can only pick up 7 points, and we need something like more than 10 points.
Yeah.
So right now I think we're just playing for like second or third.
Playing for bragging rights.
Yeah, and it's
or glory, whatever you want to call it.
So it's just a bummer, especially after like how motivated they were after that loss to corruption, and like Dan wanted to get back, and he's like, yeah, and he said so much in his post match, like, yeah, I am focusing on defending the title, and if he does defend the title, he'd be the first one to defend it 3 times, and just adding on top of his accolades because it's Dan Murrell. But the goal was to get to Spectacular for the teams belts, and they're just so one win away from the final, and it sucks.
It just wasn't their day, unfortunately. Just like deception. Everybody, it happens to everybody at some point.
It does, but it's just, oh man, it like storylines were on our side, and like momentum we're going into the second round with some momentum, both players playing perfect.
Yeah.
And then the second round hits, and it's a category that Rocha said that he loves Eddie Murphy movies, so it's like, oh man, they're gonna do this one. Oh, they're checking down a lot.
Yeah.
So, but like, what are you gonna do when a final exam hits spinner's choice?
Yeah, and I feel like somebody in the chat was like, oh, yet another example where spinner's and opponent's choice basically determines the match. And it's like, yeah, I get it.
But
it's
part of the game.
It's part of the game. I wonder what the game would be like if there were no spinners and opponents ever, because I know in the championship matches, it's kind of like an unspoken rule. Like, you don't put them on the board because, it's supposed to be knowledge against knowledge, not luck.
Champions don't put spinner's choice on the wheel. It's like,
so it does determine the match sometimes. We've seen matches where it's like, if they hadn't gotten spinners, or if we hadn't gotten opponents, it would have been a different story. But it's part of the game, unfortunately, and sometimes fortunately, if it works for the person you're rooting for.
Exactly.
When you're winning, you're like, opponent's choice is great. Spinner's choice is great. So it all just depends on if you just lost a match and how you're looking at it. But it's part of the game. And something that maybe you were thinking about that popped into my brain was that I think Frankie posted something about, changes for next season.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like official, or I'm not honestly 100% sure if Christian has like made any kind of announcement about this. Sorry. About maybe asterisk here. I don't know if this is official or not.
Yeah.
But I heard rumblings of people saying that Christian was saying that we're not gonna next season. There's not gonna be teams in a virtual format. Like teams won't come back until they're able to be done in the studio. Because of shortcomings to the virtual format. And
because the virtual format really like hinders the team format than does the other divisions.
Definitely throws in some monkey wrenches.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody posted in the Facebook group, and they brought up a point that I was like, oh, I never thought about that. That was interesting. They were saying that in the Deception, I don't know if it was this most recent Deception Odd Couple, but I guess they were saying that there was some question that the Odd Couple got. Yeah. Because I think Odd Couple went first. So there must have been some question that the Odd Couple got, and they went to multiple choice. They got it right, whatever. And then Deception went, and I guess they were trying to think of an answer. And Marisol was kind of like, oh man, it's like on the tip of my brain. I almost got it. Like and I don't know what ended up happening. I don't think they missed any. I think they might have just checked down.
Yeah.
But maybe they checked down to multiple choice or something. I don't know. But in any case, Marisol was like, oh, it's like right there. I just can't think of it. And somebody brought up the interesting point that I never thought of, that, in this virtual setting, if you go multiple choice and you miss it, and then I come back in for the steal, they're going to read me your multiple choices. They're going to tell me what you answered, because that's what you would have heard in the studio, right? This person brings up the point that, well, if you went multiple choice and you got it right, I'm never going to know what your multiple choices were. And they said that the Odd Couple, one of their multiple choice possibilities for one of their questions turned out to be an answer to one of Deception's questions. And they were like, well, they didn't get to hear the multiple choices because they got it right. But had this been in the studio, Marisol and Adam would have heard that. It would have the seed would have been planted, and maybe the recall would have been there a bit quicker.
Yeah, because the name wasn't a part of their questions, but it was a name that would have stuck to her. It's like, oh yeah, I just
heard it.
That name was just there. Yeah.
Made of, I don't know if Deception had to check down to multiple choice because of it. I don't know.
I mean, that's,
but it's a
a
I was
good
like,
point.
oh yeah, I never thought of that, because you could get context clues from other people's questions. Yeah, because you wouldn't hear their questions, any of the questions, unless they miss it. And sometimes there are context clues or names that trigger something in your head.
That's a good point.
directors or whatever. So it was just something I never thought of, and it's a good point. I mean, Christian and team are doing the best they can do in the virtual format, and they were like, well, you know, anytime anyone goes multiple choice, whether they get it or not, they should just let the other team hear and they can just edit it out, you know. But I don't think they'd want to drag it on.
That's too much work. It's too much, you know, time dedication for our matches are already dragging on.
Yeah.
Because of the digital format.
Yeah.
And other things, but
it was just something I never thought of.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic point. I just want to get back to the studio.
Yeah.
Because there's for many different reasons, and I think and Gucci said as much. Had COVID not been a thing, we might be a different team. Points might be different because especially founding fathers, everybody on the faction performed differently in front of people.
Yeah.
Because he said it himself on the Schmoedown backstage on the Gucci verse. He said when the exchange shows up, we start playing
10 deep.
We're 10 deep. We start playing the game even before we're
as
slated
we walk
to go.
in the door.
When we walk in the door, the karma, the feel is there. We're messing with people. We're messing with people's heads even before we get on the mics.
Yeah.
So, and again, this is a discussion we'll have in the off season about the digital versus studio versus live. And I think that Founding Fathers especially are a team that thrive off of being in person because the Orlando event, fantastic example of that.
So
do you remember that atmosphere?
Yes.
Like they were answering the final round, fives were going up in the air. Feeding off of that energy.
It was insane.
You really can't feed off that energy in the digital format, even a little bit.
Yeah.
So who knows?
This season, oh man, it's just there's so much to talk about because I feel like Gucci would be. I feel like things would have played out different. Not that I'm saying like, oh, Finstock Exchange would have ran away.
Yeah,
with
it would have been.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Matches would have been different.
Yeah, because now everyone's looking at Gucci like, man, what a terrible manager.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, look at all these circumstances that hit everybody out of nowhere.
And Gucci's, again, he's one of those people that like he thrives off of audience, whether it's the studio audience or a live audience. You're taking something out of his arsenal.
Yeah.
Because when he's in a live, we see him all the time. He's standing out on the side and he's like doing his little fist pumps, and it's like that has to mess with the committer's head. You can't do that in a digital format.
And like in the Orlando event, when he walked down that, you know. The walkway in between all the, you know, whatever seating to get to the stage, and everyone's like screaming his name, high-fiving him. That's got to pump you up.
Exactly. Yeah. To get you in the right mindset.
Exactly.
It doesn't get you. It's hard. It's different getting into the mindset, you know, sitting at home.
Yeah.
And then because everybody's process is different. You know, maybe if you're in the studio match, people are getting put in the studio, and instead of focusing on the match, you're meeting people in this moment, like especially for like somebody like me who's a fan first, like, oh man, I want to talk to everybody, and I'm not paying attention to my match, and I get into the seats like, oh shoot, I should have been preparing. Yeah. Rather than this format, you know what I mean? You have less distraction, and this is something that we can talk about in a future episode. But like, I feel like the exchange, and this is not an excuse, but it's like
no, not at all.
This isn't an excuse, and you know,
because I feel like it could apply to other factions
exactly too. Yeah, because like they're just people. Andrew Guy. Perfect example. He thrives off of a
Sam Levine. Yeah, Andrew Guy. I would love to have seen what Kate would have been like as a rookie manager in the studio, because I feel like she's another person that could thrive off of the energy.
Exactly. Look at the Den at the beginning of the season. They were on the hot streak, and then the digital thing happened, and then for some whatever reason they just couldn't pick themselves up.
I feel like the Den would be looking a lot different if we were in the studio.
Yeah, I think the entire season, the standings would be a lot closer in certain areas. Yeah, not just the top. It'd be, you know, the point spread wouldn't be as like huge gaps. Like, all right, we have first, second, third, and then fourth, fifth, and sixth is like just down there. I think it'd be a little bit more even spread, a little bit more competitive. Yeah. Because it's just different, and this unfortunately for our team, it just didn't go, and we didn't go our way. Maybe this live digital thing is a factor in that, and
who knows? And we'll never know.
Yeah, and right now. Dagnino's he's in an interesting situation, much like Shannon. Different situation, granted, because you know Dan's going to defend. If he does defend his title, you obviously keep Dan. John has expressed interest in going elsewhere.
Yeah, in
Bateman has expressed his need to go somewhere else, and after that one title loss to Dan.
Who knows where Craig's head is?
Yeah, who knows where I'll end up?
Exactly.
So it's interesting because again, you obviously you got to keep the best to ever do it if he retains the title. Does that mean you want to split up the Founding Fathers, or do you want to keep the Founding Fathers? Do you want to keep Craig? Who knows?
But just because you sign somebody doesn't mean they automatically have to agree. Like, couldn't he say, I want to sign you, Dan? Dan goes, nope.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's not even a guarantee.
Exactly. So it's like, what? It's going to be interesting what the exchange is going to look like next season.
Oh, it's going to be because at least 75 to 90% different, I think.
Who knows? It might be like maybe one familiar face.
Who knows?
Who knows? Because for other factions, it's like, oh yeah, they're definitely keeping them. Koi definitely keeping Shazam. Shannon definitely keeping corruption. The Den, maybe they's like, yeah, we're keeping Tom and Paul because they just hit some rough snags this season. We'll spin their wheels on them again. Mm-hmm. Kaiser's another one of those kind of wild cards. He's definitely going to keep Parker and Zipper. Who knows what they'll do with his third? But you know what I mean? There's factions that are like, yeah, they're definitely staying with that. With the exchange, it's like, I don't know. So we'll see what happens with that. But with Final Exam, they're rough. I think they're just lucky that, not lucky, but like it's kind of like a blessing in disguise that they hit a hiccup in their run with Shazam, because had they gone on the run, if they were lost to corruption, they're out of the tournament regardless, and now they don't pick up these points. Yeah. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise for them. So like they're still playing well
and picking up points.
So and that's another thing. Dan said as much as like, well, he's a sitting champion,
a liability to his team. Because he couldn't pick up points because he's just sitting there waiting to defend.
So there's so many things.
I get what he's saying.
So many things that
it's a double-edged sword to be like, oh man, I got the belt.
Yeah,
it's a double-edged sword because like you want to have the belt, but you also want to give your team points.
And that's going to change next season with title matches, regardless if they're as spectacular or not. They're going to be worth even more next season. Because
I'm really curious to see what happens with points next year, because I know that there was talk about tournament matches and this and that, and it kind of almost seemed to level out the points earned in IG and Star Wars.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Makes it kind of like, ooh, what's the draw of getting a single?
Yeah, and also the
division competitor.
Tournament matches cost just the same as title matches outside of tournaments.
So, but this kind of stuff is going to be worked on. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen next year.
It's the first season with this point system. Obviously, because like there's been this argument of like, oh, is it more important to get points or win titles?
Right.
And right now you can say
it's points.
It's kind of points right now. I mean, the title still has that prestige.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I want to rack up points for because look at Mike. He's like, oh, I could go for that title right now, but I want to rack up points for my team in the singles tournament.
Yeah.
And whoops, that didn't work out very well.
Yeah.
So, it's I'm really curious to see how things just for factions and points and how everything's going to shape out.
Because you could win the whole season and not have a single belt.
Exactly.
And depending on who you're talking to, they'll be like, "Who cares? We won." And then other people might be like, "You don't have a single belt. What did you do?"
Yeah.
So it all depends on who you're talking to.
And then there may be players, and it's like, I'm just in it to win this title. I don't care if I'm on a losing team. I just want that title.
Right.
So
that would probably be me. Probably be like, I want to do me. You know what I'm saying, baby?
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that I was able to get points for the exchange, but god damn it, I've been wanting that. I've been so close to that title shot.
Yeah.
For so long. So, who knows? We'll see.
Who knows?
Okay, I get it next season, so hopefully it's sooner than later. So, we'll see what happens. But So
then this week. Oh shoot, I always do that.
Yeah, this week because this is a Monday. Happy Monday, everybody.
This week, and it's like basically almost December.
Yeah.
Thursday. December 3rd. Oh, Thursday. Good to know. Odd Couple Final Exam, the team's tournament final. So that's Thursday, December 3rd. And I believe that is what we get next week. I don't think there's anything else.
No, I think it's just
and then it's just spectacular, boo-boo.
Tying up this last little bow to get the last match of Spectacular, and it's Final Exam versus the Odd Couple.
Oh, boy.
Ooh, I mean, I know who... I mean, because for faction-wise, it'd be good if Odd Couple can get it. I mean, not that it'll matter for us.
Yeah.
But, just to make it interesting.
Yeah. Keep things interesting.
Odd Couple is, if they can edge out the Final Exam in this, and based off of how they performed in this last match, woo, man, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
It's going to be a barn burner. So.
They're going to play lights out. In a barn burner.
Yeah. So we won't give picks because.
I mean, did you just though?
I didn't give a pick. I just said it'd be interesting. Okay. It'd be interesting.
Well, we'll see what happens next week. And if certain things happen next week, we're not talking about matches ever again. In, a predictive sense.
Yeah. But either way, man, like this is because they've both been playing like on fire. The Odd Couple is on a roll right now. The last match they're on fire in all cylinders. And right now, and I think I said it this much and while we're watching it, like right now, like Oyama is like, not that he's the whole team, but it seems like he's like he's the main player.
He's a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
He's a
not
former
that Lon
champ.
isn't, but
not that Lon isn't, but Paul is a former champ. And that's not for nothing,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's this week. Only one match. So unless they want to surprise us with something else, but
probably not.
But
because we're just it's a slow ascent to the top of the roller coaster right now.
It's the best part of the roller coaster.
No, worse. Absolutely worse.
It's the best part of the roller coaster.
No,
I love those.
Not a big roller coaster gal, but when I do go on a roller coaster, I hate it. I hate that slow ascent. That's why I like the Hulk in Universal Studios Islands of Adventure, because it just shoots you out.
And the other one with the rock roller coaster.
Oh nope, not going on that.
No, yeah, the one that shoots you forward.
Oh yeah, that one. I thought you were talking about the one.
Oh, that one. That one's awesome. That's probably one
of my
Rip
Ride Rocket.
Yeah, that one.
No, screw that.
That one goes straight up, and then that's probably one of my favorite roller coasters.
You were talking about the Aerosmith roller coaster.
Yeah, that one. You like that one, but
yeah,
the one, the other one that you confused.
Screw that.
I love that one.
No,
maybe we'll start a roller coaster podcast.
What?
I don't know. Anyways, I think we'll end.
Stay tuned, baby.
Shut up, stupid.
Thank you. So with that, we'll end this episode up. Wrap this episode up.
We'll call it the slow ascent.
The slow. Ooh.
Ooh. It wasn't that good. So you can find me on Twitter.
Thank you.
You can find me on Twitter at Dimmy, DIMMYYY.
As for me, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Nicki Dimalanta, DIMALANTA. If you're listening to this on audio form, go ahead and follow the feed, rate us, please. It will help us out tremendously.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, then you can like, comment, subscribe, and then click the bell icon over in that lower corner. See when we do stuff on YouTubes.
Yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Beyond the Schmoedown, and we'll see you guys next time.